This episode of An Unexpected Podcast is brought to you by Jeremy Strayer, the Stray Dog. Thank you.
Hello, friends, and welcome to an Unexpected Podcast. I'm Ez,
And I'm Lane.
and we're talking Tolkien.
We're coming to you from the Shire of America, the beautiful state of Ohio, in a little village called Amanda.
Yes, sir. And today, this is our anniversary episode.
Yes, it is.
You know, so
Yesterday was Tolkien's birthday. I think his 8th birthday. I saw Travis Sigler total it out for us, 128th birthday. And we did some recording last night in honor of him. So cheers to Tollers.
Yep. Cheers.
Yep. There you go. And the man who's responsible for these stories that we love so much and have brought us together. And here we are. We intentionally released our very first episode. I think it was on January 2nd, wasn't it?
I thought
it was either right before, right? Either on or right before. Yeah, his birthday. And we wanted that to always kind of mark our anniversary as a tribute to the man who created this lore, man.
What was great about last night, too, is instead of just us...
It was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
It was a lot of fun, and we just got to speak to people in the group we had never spoken to before. Yeah. We held our first White Council, and I think going forward, we've talked about the year of 2020 being a year of giving. Yeah. We've got... have you told people how many giveaways we're doing? And
I mentioned it last night, but no, I haven't. So we're... minimum of 20. I think we might do more.
We might do more. I think I'm in the spirit.
Yeah, we've got so the year of 20. We're calling it the year of giving, and so we've got 2 giveaways up on Instagram right now. I'm going to get ready to select a couple of winners, and then I've already got a third thing to put up. So I mean, if we're at this rate, we're going to be giving away a lot of things, but we have a lot of stuff to give away, and I think it's only right to I guess the way it's kind of struck me is we've been given to so much. Like we've had so much given to us, I guess I should say, from all of you, whether it's just your love and support or you just listening and reading along, or as far as like inputting onto the podcast, like content. And you want to say something?
We do have a special guest here,
little Charlotte with us, the little Gondorian princess.
Oh God,
or if it's
Where's my camera when she literally just took the mic away from Lane here. Oh my gosh, that's hysterical.
You ready to take my place, huh? It'd probably be better if you did.
That's honestly. So awesome.
And then so year of giveaways. So we got giveaways just whatever you've contributed, and you've all contributed so much, and like even if you give money for the studio, or if you're a patron and you help us financially every month. So we wanted to give back, and we have some other kind of creative things coming. Like we got a new T-shirt on the way, a new Patreon T-shirt. We're going to try and add some more designs to our TeePublic.
That's
so
right.
Get some different kind of swag, and we even be open. I mean, I haven't said this to anyone yet, but we'd be open to contributions. If you have like a design you've created that you want,
send it to us.
Put in the store, send it to us. We can put it on there, and then even some art that we're going to be giving away as a part of Patreon as well. So we wanted to give back. So we started that, and it's just going to be, if you like and you comment, I might even have Sarah randomly pick someone. Yeah. And then we'll send it out to you as fast as we can. We still got to get Joel's book out to him. I think he's been waiting on that Tolkien art book that like we did a giveaway. I think it was like last year. I never sent. So Joel, it's coming to you. Don't worry about it, man.
Okay. Well, we'll do a nice batch of giveaways. That's why I think we kind of do them in bulk. We run the giveaways for January, then we get them mailed out, and then we'll do wait a few weeks, get another batch of giveaways going, because it's fun. And I was actually digging through literally my closet and some stuff, because I was like, all right, man, this is cool. I got some stuff that we should pull out, and things that we've talked about on the show, and I'm like,
and that's the key too, right? It's in your closet.
Yeah, it's in my closet.
My stuff is all stashed away. Like if I don't have it out, and I think another thing that's helped is we see all these people have posted their showcases where they showcase their Tolkien stuff, and right now
We're
until the
working on
studio,
that.
until the studio's up and running, we don't really have that, and we've got enough stuff saved to set aside that we'll be fine. But we have an abundance that we can give to people who can put it up and and display it somewhere or treasure it in a way that we don't. So
and people have set us up. This is the cool thing. You guys have set us up to be in a position where we can give you this, and we can do things like this. And so we can't thank you enough for that.
Yeah.
It just makes us. Yeah, I mean, it's great to be in
how
a position.
much of that stuff has come from other uppers? Yeah, people
have sent us
generosity.
Hey, Lane and S, can you guys do a little giveaway? I got some toys coming your way and stuff. So we got tons of those. So I would encourage you to make sure you're following us on Instagram. I'd say that's probably what we're going to do. It's easy. It's the easiest spot to do the giveaway because we get a picture of it up there. We can just do, if you comment, then that means you're interested, and we can kind of go through and pick. So I know some people aren't big Instagram people, but even if you can just make I almost said a dummy account.
Burner account.
What is wrong with me? Why do I also admit the dumb things that I was about to say?
Well, there'd be some kind of clever way you could do a burner account that has to do with the pyre, right?
I'm sure, yeah. Make it Tolkien themed, Lord of the Rings themed. It'd be great. We'll know who you are. Yeah, it'd be great. Anyways, but so
Shadow and Flame.
We're excited. This is a good time. Should we do a couple updates though? I kind of want to do an update. We actually just had, and we're just going to call it a studio meeting.
Yes.
We looked at some stuff, and I think here in January we're going to make some real progress. And which is cool. We've made some great progress in December and even in November.
Yep.
It got to the point where every weekend, I mean, it was tough getting everybody's schedules lined up, and just it became a lot. And so now we're really encouraged because it was about a year ago when we launched the Kickstarter. It was actually a year ago.
And Kev came out and took a look at the space.
And we drew up some stuff and we got the materials and it's kind of cool. And there's still more phases to go. So as really we're getting through a big chunk right here, a big phase. Lane and I are going to just push through and get this done. And then some of the smaller tasks, some of the fine details, finer stuff, a little easier. And we're going to have some of the guys back, and we'll do some fun vlogs and things for people. But I'm really excited just to have that done and ready. Remember when we joked though, it was at LEP, and I said, maybe next time when you guys come back,
done next year.
I said hopefully, we'll have it done by next year, and you're like, well, I would hope so. Or I think I said, hopefully we'll have it done by the next time you guys come back, and you were thinking, well, that's gonna be next year. Yeah. I would hope so, and I'm thinking, well, actually, no, I really do. I really do hope we have it done.
I mean, part of the thing too is that
we're going to.
And part of the thing, it came down to sometimes it was like, okay, we have to record this weekend. Do we want to record? Or do we want to go work in the studio? Like which one? Because it takes a lot. I mean,
energy.
Our Friday nights it's like 5 hours of, getting ready, planning, hitting firing the Discord up, recording further up if we've got an episode to do, or just getting into
chapter.
Yeah, and it's just like that followed by a work day on Saturday.
You're dead, man.
You're just dead. So
plus we had worked a full day before on Friday, and then we did all of that in the afternoon. So we always say this: we're blessed, and we're it's a great problem to have, I guess. It's like this is awesome, it's fantastic. Yeah. So, but that is what we want you guys to know. That's why it got kind of crazy there. So we're actually passing back and forth here. A nice little is this a house porter?
Yeah, that's Jeremy's stout. Is it a stout or a porter?
You think he said porter?
Porter stout.
Porter stout.
Stout pour.
I don't know.
Pour the stout. Yeah, I don't know. It was delicious. It's
good.
Very, very good. So
yeah.
So 2 years, man. I guess maybe what if we just did like our biggest like over the last year? Like what has been the biggest
this past year?
Yeah, just this past year too.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, all right, let's do that. Man, let me think here. I feel like we're both gonna be saying about the same thing.
Yeah.
I think
can I tell you mine? I'll go with mine real quick. I just think just the continuation of the group, the way it has blossomed, the way more and more people have felt safe to share, and just that we have made another year of constant positivity and support of each other.
Yep.
And we were talking about how it seems like this last month has been rough for a lot of people, and they've turned to the group to just say, hey, this is what's going on in my life. I could use a pick me up. Can you give me some quotes that are uplifting to you, or some Tolkien or some memes or whatever to make me laugh? And I think that probably there have been months like that prior in the last 2 years. There have to be where a group of people at the same time were experiencing just kind of rough patches. But I'm excited that to see that while there probably have been months like that before, people are now feeling like this group's not going anywhere. These people really do care.
That's right.
These are friends that I've never even met before. In some cases, in a lot of cases, and that I can share this, and I can come here and not be afraid of any kind of criticism or judgment or any kind of like shaming or negativity or anything. So that is what I'm most proud of, because I think that at the core, like that's what it's all about. We always talk about it. It's like that the group is it makes everything more enhanced, and it is a book club. It's a book club. So
it's so much more, and it's enhanced, as you say. I would even say too, I'm thankful for the pulse checkers, the people who go in and who over this past year have said, "How is everybody doing?" And I don't have to name names; people know who those people are. And it's more than there's multiple people who come in and they check on different people.
Yes,
and then
you've got welcomers. You've got welcomers who every time someone new pops in and says, "Hi, I'm new to the group," you've got 10. There's at least 10 to 15 people who say, "Welcome to the Nerd Zone." Susie always saying, "Welcome to the group. We're glad to have you in the fellowship." Like there are a lot of groups, I'm sure, that you go on Facebook and you say, "Hey, I'm new to the group. Just wanted to say hi," and you get crickets.
Yeah. See, you
get crickets.
And I love this because in our group, people want to know who you are, what brought you here, what's going on. And the other thing is, too, you don't just have people coming in checking like the group pulse and stuff and checking in with people and seeing how that's going. You have people who then will follow up with someone that we never even see or hear about.
Right, yeah.
Maybe until, later or something, or if it ever does just trickle down. But like who go and check individually, one-on-one, to check on somebody. And I've heard a couple of those stories, and I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
It's the stuff that it's going on all the time, and we wouldn't know.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So I am also very, very, very proud, just of that group, and I love everybody in that group, and I think you guys do a wonderful job. Even to the point where Lane and I have been vulnerable, just in our own personal lives, in our knowledge of Tolkien, in just in what we want to. I don't know.
For me, it's a lack of knowledge.
Well, and that's what I guess that's what I mean. It's like,
but yeah, it's true.
It's like as you're discovering
and
something.
That's okay.
God, isn't that what you want? I so try to encourage in my students curiosity and being okay to say, like, what if you're not comfortable enough to say it in my classroom and let me know. I don't know where you're at. I can't take you from where you are and move you forward. And we have people in our group who, when that, I guess you have the other educators or the guides by the sides who, when something does either happen on the podcast or somebody posts something that's kind of like, oh, we know that that's not, there's an educational kind of a guidance. Somebody steps in, let me guide you here. It's not I've always felt really good about that because I hate people coming in and being like intimidated by anything, and I don't know. It makes me excited because we're going into such new territory.
Yeah, we are. I know, with
Lord
the
of the Rings
and everything. And I just even the grace that people show us, like if we if we make a mistake or say something a little crazy or wild, or we theorize and have fun and play, that people recognize that that's exactly what it is, and that if you can't do that with fantasy stories, then what are you going to be able to do that with? Like, that is the one place where you should be able to dream and let it inspire you. And think about all the people who've written consequent. We're talking about Robert Jordan.
Yeah.
How he was so inspired with imagination and curiosity and creativity from Lord of the Rings that he ended up writing his own. So
that's right.
But if you didn't ask any of those questions or think, man, I wonder what would it be like? If you didn't ask and implore that way, he never would have written another a series of books. That's how you get to like the next creative level, as well as saying, what do you guys think about this? Like, what is there a Silmaril on the bottom of Galadriel's mirror? Like, what is that? Is it an essence of something?
That's
and,
right.
And you can have those conversations. Well, I don't think it is. Well, maybe who knows?
And here's
that's
the
cool
thing. If all the evidence leads you to some type of conclusion, but people say, well, the author said otherwise. I think it's sometimes great, though, that I don't know that Tolkien always did that. I don't think he always answered every single question.
No.
And he, a lot of times he wanted enigmas. He wanted things to be a little bit like that. And it's something that actually even George Martin has said in his own writing. Is like, there are questions. First of all, he's not done with the series. But second of all, there are elements that you don't want answered.
Yeah.
You left them in there.
That's what
for
good
that
writing
very,
is,
exactly.
too, isn't it? It just, and then it leaves you. I'm even thinking about most recently watching
Draw
Star
your own
Wars.
conclusion.
Yes, watching Rise of Skywalker, and how my immediate reaction was, I didn't get that resolution. And then after watching it with Sarah, she was like, well, Lane, that's not real life.
Right.
I was like, jeez, yeah.
And there's more story
You're
to
so
tell.
Smart. And it's like
more
stuff
story
doesn't
to tell.
just because your experience in the world is wrapping up doesn't mean that those characters' lives are wrapping up. And so, I think that the best authors, the best storytellers, don't answer all the questions, because then it makes you want to read it again, and it makes you want to think, well, what could have happened here? And it's those, those in between moments that we don't have fleshed out for us that allow us to, like you're talking about the painting. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place.
No, I thought about that.
You showed me of Yoda, and the moments before he met Luke that you met the artist, and she just said, he had already accepted. He already decided he was going to train Luke.
Let me just because that's a really good point, and I want this to happen. Like we follow the Fellowship, there are many other characters who are having adventures and journeys. There's so much space. There's so many white spaces that you can fill in your own way. When we leave Rohan and what goes on there? What happens? We get tidbits and there's stuff in these history books, but like there's so much more that
life
you
went
can...
on.
Yes.
Right? Life went on.
Yes.
And they
they saw the darkness and what did they do? How did they...
I mean, I'm still lost out there with that fox, man. Like what did that fox get up to afterwards? How did he... I don't know. I just so the little things like that, right? The in between moments.
Yes, and we started thinking about this because I went to Star Wars Celebration and I met an artist, and she had created this image of before. And if you know Star Wars, when Luke lands on Dagobah in Episode 5, first thing he sees, he comes across an interesting character named Yoda. Who he doesn't know that he's Yoda. Yeah, and he's crazy. Yeah. But she
playing
drew
with his flashlight.
Yeah, she drew and painted this beautiful painting of him moments before he went to show himself to Luke, and he's very serene. He's
connected with the Force.
And the caption of it is, "Train him, I will."
That's so cool.
Train him, I will. He had already... And I thought to myself, and we sat there and we talked about it. And so this is what I like about your guys' art, and I like what Lane is doing too. You got some major surprises coming, filling in sort of what was happening. Imagine if you drew a picture of the people, of Rohan looking and seeing the darkness off afar. Oh, yeah. And what were they? How were they comforting, consoling? What were they doing? Were they preparing for war to come to their border because they didn't know what was going? That stuff we don't always get told. Yeah. And so an artist, and when you illustrate that, you're like, oh my gosh, that's an interpretation of something else that's happening, and there's so much more room, I guess, to kind of fill in. Yeah. And that's what I think is fascinating. Yeah, and that's what we can do with these worlds and these stories that are created for us, and it's great. Yeah, it's great. So, anyway, sorry, a little tangent.
Yeah, no, that's great, dude. That's great. Just I think that's probably a great expression of like what this group has done. It allows those conversations. It allows. Yeah, so I would say that's probably the biggest, just seeing like it continue to grow in quality, not only quantity. Just like, I think about the party too. How the second party was double, triple. How many people came to the first one, and double, how it was just only magnified by that. Like the greatness was only, I don't know, multiplied, and so that just. It makes me excited for all the things in the future. I think about the Rohirrim gathering that's going on and how they are already expecting 3 or 4 times the amount of people of last time, and how that will just the more we do those kind of things, it will build on itself, and people will go, man, I'd love to come out and meet all my friends I've never met before, and maybe I can go this year, or maybe I can go that, and it'll just continue to, and you have good enough time that it's a once a year thing. You can make it out the next year.
There are people who live in Argentina. We met. We got to speak to Pao last night, right? Mm-hmm. And I bring her up for like this reason. It may be difficult for us to meet her, actually physically meet her, but there's something in like us just talking, communicating. There's a bond, and there's a string attached. And there's these bonds. There's this web that's forming in our group, right? And when you have somebody stand, up in like in the Rohirrim and say, "Come gather," call the banners, and get as many people. It just strengthens those bonds.
Yeah, it's cool.
The web just weaves tighter. Yeah. And I don't know, I think that's amazing, and it's encouraging because then it's just that much more going forward. We have a better connectivity and everything. It's just
and it is special. So thinking about like Pao, like. In what other had we not all decided to join this book club, we would have never ever crossed paths with her. And like many of you, and you think about how your life is only better and richer because of those interactions and those like friendships and the sport and the group and all that stuff. Like, man, to think about sometimes it's you get stuck on thinking what might have been, and then you think about the flip side of what might not have been. Like, had we not You know, I think about that in this story a lot. Had they not decided to take those actions,
Right.
you know, like what would have become of Middle Earth?
Right.
How much would the evil have advanced? And so I think, you know, by us continuing on and only growing, like, what would have not been had we not?
Yeah.
Like, had we decided to go, man, it's just, you know, we like Lord of whatever. We don't need to make a podcast. We don't have to join this crazy book club. I don't have to go to Amanda, Ohio. It's kind of weird, you know.
Yeah,
like had people listen
yes.
to that voice. There are two voices, man.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
And one.
It takes courage to listen to.
It does.
Yeah.
It's your Tukish side and it's your Baggins side, right?
Yeah.
Like which one? You know, Frodo or Bilbo could have said, "No, I don't." He could have stayed there.
That's right.
He could have said, "No, I'm not going to go on this adventure." He could have listened to his decision. I think about the movies because when he's been watching them a bunch, and we've been like, I got to take back what I say too about those films. I need to make a huge apology.
Oh yeah, okay? Redemption tour here for Lane
because,
on The Hobbit.
The more you watch them, the more you love them, and there are things I wish they would have. Like I wish they would have stayed focused on Bilbo more, but it's okay because you know what? We're lucky to have had Martin Freeman as Bilbo in the first place.
Absolutely,
he's amazing. And what are you laughing about? Mommy tickling you? And you know, we could have had less Middle Earth. You know, those movies didn't even have to be made. So
yeah,
I want to formally apologize to Peter Jackson for anything I've insinuated about your involvement with the project. I want to apologize to everyone involved in The Hobbit who may have heard my words and said, "Dude, it's a great movie. Just shut up." And I'm going to shut up. No, I'm not. I'm going to only
now
speak positively about those films because they're amazing. And I see my daughter, like Winnie, loves them.
That's all she talks about.
How many times has she watched them in the last, like 10, probably 10 times over the past week? She says, "Hobbit, Daddy, Hobbit, Bilbo." And she just loves what, you know.
I love when you get her to go, you know, Winnie, what's your favorite line? She's like, put that back.
Put that back.
It's like, oh my god.
And then even just the way it, like, Sarah and I get to watch it and we're just like, isn't he so good? And like, isn't it like that's those scenes in Bag End when all the dwarves are there and it's just chaos and like you see his frustration and how comical it is to Gandalf. That is gold. Like it makes me excited to read The Hobbit. It makes me excited to sit down and like we can review those movies like we've done with the fellow, you know, the three Lord of the Rings someday. And it's cool. It's cool.
Well, I agree with you.
Don't know where I was going with that, but
we're talking just a couple more things that we kind of, you know, that's great because that's something you learned along in this past year, and we wanted to share with you things that we've either learned or our takeaways or things that have been great. And you know, like it was about a year ago. When you know Lane said to me, like because of this book club and because of what we've done here, Lane said, what do you think about Narnia? And I said, yeah, wow. And it's been amazing. And so like like anybody who's gotten a chance to go listen to that, like I feel like I'm in two very wholesome just fandoms that make me feel so good and they enrich me in so many different ways. And that has just been a blessing, man. It's a blessing. I'm very proud of those because it's something that I know for a fact that it's much more. I think of Rachel, my niece, and Ben, my nephew, and then your kids, and how like as they get older, that'll be the first one that we're probably okay with them listening and saying, "Hey, like, you know, go check that out." And it's just so sweet, you know.
Totally. 100%,
so we got Goldberry over there in the corner, and I just, you know, we love her, so she's giving us the heart.
Amazing.
You know,
she's amazing.
But yeah, man, I don't know. So that was a big sort of takeaway thing that I really just kind of liked and enjoyed about this past year. And I know you do too. I mean, right? That's been a huge joy.
Oh my gosh! I mean, I love it. It's I can't pick favorites, but when we're two and further up,
it feels.
I don't know. There's something about it. Yeah, and I think like even my kids at school, I could say, "Hey, go listen to this."
Yeah,
like, this is Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, and our friend Mr. Kirk.
That's right.
Talking about, I don't know. There's just an innocence to it that.
Can we start introducing ourselves, by the way?
Can you imagine?
I'm Mr. Kirk.
I'm Mr. Kirk, and you're on further up.
Yeah, that's funny.
But no, I mean it's cool too, and I honestly kind of like it. I like how small it is too, because it feels like the beginnings of Up Talking Tolkien, like when we were very, very, you know, not that we're a large group now, but when we were much smaller, it was I don't know. There's something about I like the beginnings of things. The beginning of things are fun because it's all the excitement and everything, and but in a lot of ways, like I don't say that to Up Talking Tolkien still feels very young. It still feels like we're at the beginning, and there's always something new and.
Yeah, and it's also like I think even when any group, like even further up or this group when they grow, if it's organic and it feels like it's just very natural, that makes you feel good, and that's where you get kind of the feels, I guess, and that happened with this group, and we're excited. We see it now, like just very natural kind of. as people become more interested and they look into Lord of the Rings and they want to extend their knowledge or they want to go on an adventure, they go do that. And the fact that they get to do it here with us is just fantastic. And we feel, privileged to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So,
yes, sir.
Any other big, favorite takeaways or anything, Where's that? Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Sarah's just, or Goldberry, sorry, is motioning over here. The love for the girls that people have shown. So, yeah, I mean, like our crotch fruit, our crotch fruit they're just continuing to, oh my gosh, you're so cute, grow. And, people will send, Just Denbo just sent us a huge care package. And I mean, I claimed all the food. I'm sorry, like all the jerky I just took.
Well, that's out now. Yeah.
But like, sent 2 little bears. She said that it feels like kind of like where the Bjornings would have. Montana feels like that. There's crazy wild animals out there and vast landscapes. And she sent them 2 little stuffed bears. And I think about Jen Shepard making blankets and Susie Millhouse making them things and
the cloaks
from Sheriston and the husky that Erica Barnes made. And yeah, just people remembering them and thinking about the girls. Like the crazy thing is Winnie is 2.
Yeah.
Winnie will always be the age of this podcast. Yep. And Charlotte is almost 1. She will always be the age of Further Up. And that's just kind of so we got to start another one this year with baby number 3 coming. But
hopefully that fits into the theme of the third one.
Yeah. Oh God, the number. Oh crap. Number 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just that is huge. Yeah, because you and then you just when people come and like for the LEP 2 and I'm sure LEP 3 will be the same way. Just getting excited to meet. Like when Tony Charlier had us sign his book.
It just blows me away.
I'm like, bro, what are you like? I was like, I'm not like I shouldn't be signing this book, Tony. He goes, well, no, for me, I would like to have that. I'm like, what an honor. And he's like, I got to make sure Sarah signs this too, and I got to make sure Ez. Yeah, we loved. I mean, Tony, but it's like that kind of stuff from everybody and. It's crazy. You guys know how to make everyone feel special. And
Kurt Jones always bringing the map and having people sign and going around making sure that gets done.
I miss you, Kurt.
Good Lord, I want something else too. That's why we talked about art and things that we want to kind of maybe provide and things that you can just stuff that you can. Oh my gosh, dude! I just thought too. Don't forget we mentioned the T-shirts. We have a lot of goodies. We have a lot of goodies.
Yeah, we do. Yes, we do.
Actually,
yes, we do.
That we'll
send out.
People who who are not here at the party will get to enjoy some very good goodies from the party. So thanks to those individuals who provided those. But yeah, man, it's just it's been a lot of joy. There's been some people. Let me take it a different route here. I just want to say thank you to Lane and to Sarah and to everybody who listens and helps and supports us because. Dude, there for a while, I like that past. It was like the end of last school year into the summer. Rough times. Yeah. Starting this year, rough times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel so much better.
Yeah.
And I can't thank people enough just for bearing with me,
bro. I'm not gonna try and make you cry here, but I think I might. You saw it through.
Yeah.
You listen to the words of Samwise, and it's like he has that moment, dude.
Those quotes are still on my board. Yeah.
He looks at the tip of his sword and he thinks that might not be so bad, and then the voice comes to him and says, "See it through."
Yeah.
You see things through. Like that's what you do. So that's all you, man.
It helps because I was encouraged. I remember Sarah. We were doing Further Up, and one of the quotes was the cabbie. That quote is on my board. Kids have asked me about it, and they've wanted to know. I'd have been
better man my whole life if I knew things like this existed.
Yeah, it was just sort of, and I was like, wow, it's just like all you have to be is just a good man. That's it, that's it. It was enough, and I was like, that's enough, and I put that up there, and it just made me feel better. So I don't know. I just wanted to say thanks to everybody because it's been super encouraging, and I don't know. I can't thank you guys enough for letting me come do something this crazy. Think back 2 years ago before any of your kids were born. And I remember Sarah was pregnant and we're in here in the kitchen and I'm just sitting around going, is this happening right now?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was
the
crazy.
Excitement's just like flowing. And so I don't know.
That hasn't even, I don't think that's really even changed. Like it still feels crazy.
Do you feel like we were really busy this past year though?
Yes.
I feel like we were really busy. And I think
this year's going to be a little more calm.
I think
for some reason, I don't know why.
And honestly, I think that's going to be better for everyone because when it's like that, like the appendices are flowing.
Yeah.
things are we're doing more research, we're digging into stuff. This was a big year of growth, I think, for us, and to get stuff framed out and kind of you see what I'm saying,
and also kind of settle into a more of a stride, I think. So this is something weird, just random off the cuff. We're sort of having a business meeting here. Sorry, guys.
Let's do it.
But I don't know what people. I'm sure people would love this, but I would like to bring back the travelogues through Middle Earth, New Zealand. But I want Sarah in on every episode.
Let's go.
And now that we finally talked her into doing podcasting, I think we could make it happen.
We can make it happen.
We could revisit those places that we've already done.
Yes.
Because she just has a way of like keeping me on track and remembers things that I don't remember.
Yeah.
And most of those places that I have on there, she has been as well.
Can I also say it's kind of cute too sometimes when you guys don't really like, you say something and she's like, but it was and I'm like, but now which was it?
Well, I'm always wrong. I mean, that's true. I'm always wrong.
No, no, I would be absolutely down for that. And since you brought that up, I think I'll go ahead and bring up like we've
Wandering Wizards.
Yeah, I actually am going to encourage a few of our patrons to join me on Wandering Wizards. And really, it's not going to be, the crazy thing is it's going to be just us chatting. Yeah, it's going to be wandering with the wizard, if you will. And I can't believe am I being a little pretentious there? Am I the wizard? Whatever. Did I say it? I did. I danced around it, but I'm the wizard, okay?
I think you got 98% of
They call me the flannel wizard in case you didn't know and this was your first episode, all right? So, but anyways, I think that'll be kind of fun, and that's something I had a couple buddies who I wanted to maybe bring on, and sometimes it's just nice when I'm sitting there. I told you when I'm editing, this came to me. I have time during editing just to hop on Discord and say, is anybody on? And then boom, pop on and record 15, 20-minute session and get more of that out to people, because then again, I can come to you and say, hey man, I talked to somebody we've never talked to. This is amazing. And like I now have a connection. Another thread has gone out, and that line is stronger, that connectivity. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for all. So I think this year of calmness and giving is going to be fantastic for us.
We'll finish the studio up, so that'll be kind of one thing that we won't have to do anymore.
And I'm so excited. Do you think we're going to get in The Hobbit this year? By the end of the year, you think we'll be in it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way the timeline is right now, we're going to finish Return of the King in late spring.
Okay.
Early summer. I think we take a natural break when you go to Scotland, because you got that planned.
Yes,
now.
I do. I got the Scotland.
Take a break when you're in Scotland. We come back. We hit The Hobbit.
Yeah, okay.
Hit The Hobbit. Maybe finish that up over the summer.
Because I bet we'll be finished with The Hobbit in time to then dive into the Silmarillion before the show even starts.
Right.
Because I think the show is not going to be this next year, right? It's going to be 2021.
It will be, yeah. And then so the cool thing we could do too is maybe at that current timeline, we might be hitting second age stuff as the show's coming out.
That's what I'm hoping.
Like, how prophetic would that be?
I would love that.
That'd be kind of freaky.
Something's guiding us.
So, yeah, there's some unknown, those stars up there beyond the clouds.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, they're still there.
Yeah, they're still
there. Oh, man, Luke's song just hit me. Oh,
I know, dude. I know. They're still there.
Oh, jeez.
Even when you can't see them.
That's
Even
right.
when you can't see them.
I won't bid the night farewell.
Oh, gosh.
Whatever. I can't remember the words. So what we have next actually is a little conversation that we had with Jeremy Strayer, Stray Dog, an old family friend of ours, one of my dad's best friends in the whole world. They were just kind of randomly in town, or not randomly. They came up to visit mom and dad from their home in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And Jeremy is the one who picked that passage from I think it's the end of the Old Forest, right before In the House of Tom Bombadil,
right.
of them standing on the threshold that he used in our wedding.
Yes.
And so it was cool to kind of relive that moment a little bit, and then we just kind of started talking everything Tolkien. Dad hopped on the mic and he started talking. So it's just a little bonus conversation that you guys get to hear from my dad. And then Jeremy Strayer, who's a huge Tolkien fan as well.
Yeah, I just want to jump in here before we go right into that. Because we recorded that and then we recorded this. And I want folks to know, like, there's a friendship between these two men that I loved to see. And I sat here and we got emotional and we went deep. And it got deep for a second. And I really, really loved it. And I can't say, I mean, I feel like I wanted to tell, Jeremy too. I feel like in passing, I may have recognized him as a professor, but we had the professor here, friends. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. But so it was such a good guy. And I've always heard from Lane, and Sarah just about that experience at your wedding. And then I've heard about this friendship, and to see it here, that's what this club is about. That's what this story is about. Friendship and fellowship and stuff. And so, hearing these guys talk about it and having persevered through so much for so long, man, it just literally put me up on the mountain. Yeah. And I was like, it did, man. It put me up on the mountain. And I loved every bit of it. And so it starts off just by us talking about, Tolkien's work. And then we kind of, from there, tie it back into friendship and go different ways. But I love your dad and I love Jeremy. And I just think they are welcome here anytime, and they're just fantastic, man. So yeah. So all right, with that, let's take a listen to it.
Yep. Okay, well, we are here in the Shire of America. This is a little bonus feature on our anniversary episode, which we're recording the day after Tolkien's birthday, which is pretty cool. His birthday was yesterday, January 3rd. It's also the anniversary of... Did I say birthday or anniversary?
I don't know what you said.
I don't know either.
Anniversary.
It is our second anniversary. We've been a book club now officially for 2 years, which is amazing. And we've got a very special guest with us. We've got the stray dog himself, Jeremy Strayer, is in from. What would Tennessee? Because you told me there's three very distinct areas. What part of Middle Earth does it remind you of?
It's what part does it remind me of?
Yes. We call Ohio the Shire. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's very Shire-like.
Yeah.
Middle Tennessee, what is that?
It would be somewhere close to the Old Forest, I think.
Ooh, all right, awesome,
maybe the
dude.
outskirts. Yeah,
you got some mountains to the east, and like you were saying, some plateaus and farmland to the west. It's nestled in there in the little hidden valley, almost kind of, huh?
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here, man. Jeremy is an old family friend of ours. He knew my parents from working at Mount Vernon Nazarene University. He was like Mr. Math Guru there. And they went to church together, became like really amazing friends. He's like a family member. I remember going out into the garage. Dad would be lifting and throwing tires around, and Jeremy's out there right beside him, getting that lift in.
Really,
that's right.
Yeah.
Swole
so
brothers.
he's brains and brawn. Jeremy Strayer. He's also a huge sumo fan. Dad and Jeremy love sumo wrestling. Love all things. All things cheeky, I guess you could say, right? But Jeremy helped. So Sarah and I didn't actually get our wedding ceremony. We didn't legally get married. We wanted to do that kind of. We wanted to do it like privately, so we had a private official ceremony. But then we wanted to have like an actual wedding. Mm-hmm. So we were like, who could we have help lead our wedding? Yep. And Jeremy was one of three. It was Jeremy. It was Pete Donovan, and it was her grandfather, Bob Ward. Yep. So Jeremy was kind of like he was the officiant. If you'd put a title on, he was the officiant of the wedding.
One of three.
Yeah. But you were kind of
the troika of officiants.
Yeah, you were the you were the what's the middle of the spokes? They were spokes, and you were the
hub. Yeah.
You were the hub.
Gotcha.
There we go. Yeah. Jeez, he's so smart. But anyway, that wedding was amazing because we wanted to incorporate things that we loved. And I remember saying to Jeremy, I was like, I don't care what you use. I don't even want to know. But I said, if you could work in Lord of the Rings somehow, I said that would be amazing. Mm-hmm. And he did in one of the most epic ways of all time. I've shared a little bit the passage that he used. But would you care about or care to talk about reflections on that day?
Yeah. First, I mean, like the way you set up the whole yard, right? I mean, I'm not sure how much you already talk about this. I mean, you set up a little shire,
this is good.
right?
Yeah, it was very hobbity, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we were surrounded by farmland. Mm-hmm. You had hay bale seating in a circle, right? For the congregation, the audience.
What do you call people at a wedding?
The witnesses.
The witnesses.
The witnesses.
Right. Yeah, and were we in the middle?
We were in the middle. Okay. Yes, we were the hub, if you will.
Here we go.
Full circle.
And there's a beautiful tree, like a huge tree overlooking the whole thing, kind of like I mean, it's Bilbo's backyard.
Really?
Wow. And you even didn't you have Shire music playing, like a soundtrack?
I think we did. We had some Shire music playing. Yes, that's right.
Did you notice?
Seriously, no.
Yeah.
Ezra wasn't there.
It was beautiful.
Isn't that bad? That's one of my. He should have been one of my groomsmen.
The dark years. Those were the dark years.
We don't talk about this very often. But the great the kin slang.
We talked about goodness,
road slang.
Yeah.
That's wild though, because I didn't think there was that big of a influence in your wedding. I don't know why.
It was. I think the concept was we wanted it to feel like a Hobbit party. Mm-hmm. That was one of the things. And Sarah, it was on Sarah's family farm, so it was kind of already rural and rustic that way. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to decorate in a way that evoked that for sure.
Yeah, it sure did. Yeah, and it was, and then I think the corn was up. Corn was up, and it was. it was just a beautiful setting, and it evoked some magic.
Yeah, definitely. Well, but your selection and your words too had a huge part to play in that.
Yeah, so I think I was reading through in preparation. I started reading through The Fellowship again, and I had just a couple of weeks before the wedding, I had reread the Tom Bombadil when they first came up on Bombadil, and just the description of their reaction when they first, I forget what it says, something about when they entered the house, they're on the threshold and the golden light was streaming in. And,
oh man, that's because I remember that's a great scene. Yeah, and
we blew that up during that episode.
We blew it up,
and I stood on that moment. I'm like, this is a very important passage to Sarah and I because of what Jeremy. Yeah, and it's funny because I don't. I'm sorry, I'll let you. I'm not trying to interrupt, but like reading that prior, I think the reason it hit me so hard that day is because that was one that I think a lot of people, and me in particular, just kind of glanced over.
Yeah.
Tom Bombadil gets kind of brushed off as being silly, even though we don't believe he is anymore. Mm-hmm. In that moment, you could just kind of, it's the end of a chapter, right? He's describing, Tolkien's getting fruity with his words again about a door, something simple and light. But the way that you like tied it to our wedding day and our future and our hopes and our home like that we were building.
And that's all that just all came flooding into me at the moment. It's like, oh gosh, this is the beginning. You're standing on the threshold, the golden light is coming down, and what I think said something, thinking about the golden light of God's love, or the love that we share is all around us. And so then, like, I had no idea what the space was going to look like. So I'm just before I go to bed, reading some Tolkien, and then when I step into that setting and realize, oh gosh, like the golden light is all around us. You are standing on the threshold and of the beginning of something huge. And then you've got two little ones running around, house full of love. You've got Granny.
Granny and Pops.
Granny and Pops. Yep. Granny and Pops are a couple miles down the road.
It's amazing,
and
man.
you guys,
it was prophetic words from Tolkien, and your placement of them was, even more so. You okay, baby? That's Charlotte coughing. That's her first recording on.
Wow, that is her first recording. We were trying to get her to say something.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
That'll work too.
Do you want to go crawl to your sissy?
I heard a no from the other room. I don't know if that was correlated.
Big sister. Yeah. So that was an amazing. Obviously, I've blown that up quite a bit, but that moment to me was something I'll never forget. That passage to me. I don't know if a tattoo could even do it justice. I'd get it tattooed. Like it was. Those words are incredible. But you've been a Tolkien fan for a long time.
Yeah.
Would you mind telling us what I really wanted to get is your Tolkien story? Like, how did you discover Middle Earth?
Right.
What's your favorite part about it? When did you read the books?
Can
movies,
you remember
that?
your first, when you read it? Because that's always, I think, fascinating. People can remember, like, I read it at this time or whatever.
Yeah.
That might be,
I definitely remember the first time. I had a good friend in middle school. His name was Bobby Varichelli, and my kids. I have so many Bobby Varichelli stories.
Bobby Varichelli.
So like we were good friends, but we also I think we got into a fight once, like in the 7th grade or something like that. And but anyway, he was an avid reader, and so he recommended Lord of the Rings. He's like, Strayer, you got to read this. So
wow.
It was on Bobby's recommendation.
How old were you when he made this recommendation?
This would have been probably 7th grade. Something like 7th or 8th grade.
That's when the films came out when I was in 7th grade.
Okay.
So that's when I discovered Middle Earth.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect time, isn't it? You're like 12, 13 years old, entering like the turmoil of your life, kind of, you're coming of age and all the stuff.
Struggles.
All the peer pressures and everything. And you're reading about characters who like rose above all of that. And wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
When the movies came out, eventually you saw the movies. What was your impression of Peter Jackson's interpretation and the films?
Yeah. So I'll just go back real quick to the books. Of course, I don't want to go on and compare too much, but like I really identified with in reading through the Lord of the Rings with Sam. Like Sam was Sam was my guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I just saw myself in him a lot, and it's just like I'll be I'll be that friend.
Yeah.
You know, I'll carry you on my back if I have to.
Yeah.
You know, just like that just really resonated with me.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
We got a good guy sitting here.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. Stray Dog's amazing, man.
Anytime somebody connects with, you know, Sam, I'm always like, that's a good person, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
So the movies came out. Let's see. I was living in Ohio at the time with nice. And so my father-in-law was into the movies and the books as well, and then my brother-in-law. So the three of us, we would get together and smoke pipes sometimes.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I think I knew about that. Yes, yeah.
So then when the movies came out, it was like, this is perfect. And that was back when you could still smoke in restaurants. So we went to what's the Irish pub at Easton?
Claudia Fido?
No, Fido.
Yeah.
So I think when we went to see the first movie, we went to Fido first, got a pint, smoked some pipes, you know.
That is awesome.
That's actually really cool.
And then headed to see the movie. So yeah, it was kind of a part of our family, right? And then when all the movies came out, we would go see them together. So it was a special time, and you know, it was the excitement. Yeah. You know, I don't know, like the movie technology was just progressing at that point.
Yeah.
And no one could make a good movie before without it looking all puppety and stuff. So it's like, we were moving into a new era, technologically wise.
And I probably the era that we are still enjoying was started by Jackson back then and the Lord of the Rings. I mean, everyone. It seems like everything now, even still, is trying to mimic like what that was, you know, and kind of in the way I think maybe Star Wars did that for a long time. And still
that was like the next, you know, Lord of the Rings when it came around was everyone talks about it in the group. That was like the new standard. I mean, they set that up, and you're like, whoa, that's what they have to be like now. So
and Sam being your favorite character, what did you think of Sean Astin's performance? And like for you, was it just like, of course, like lifted from the pages kind of deal?
Yeah. I mean, it was great. I thought his portrayal was wonderful. Of course, you know, you want with the book, you can get inside the characters' heads more, and all that. But I thought, you know, as much as you can portray a character faithfully, I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So the Hobbit films. Do you like the Hobbit films? Do you like the book, The Hobbit? What is so like? What? And I guess maybe what's your extent of digging into? Because you were going through these. What are these called? As the what do
like
we even
the
have?
histories
Histories
like
of Middle Earth. Yeah. What is your experience outside of just the three Lord of the Rings?
Right. Yeah. So I read the Hobbit. I think I read the Hobbit first, and it seemed like a really good story.
Yes.
But then you know, it's a quick story.
It's different. Yeah. It's very different, isn't it? I mean, I haven't read it, so I don't know. But
there and back again. I mean, it's
exactly. Yeah. But the Lord of the Rings is I mean, there. I feel really stupid right now because I can't remember the like it's not a fairy tale, but like there's one type of story where you just go off, have an adventure, and come home.
Oh,
yeah.
But then the other type of story is everything changes, right? Like you don't come back and resume life as it was before.
Like Lord of the Rings.
And that's what the Lord of the Rings
absolutely,
is like.
absolutely.
There are gosh, what? I know what you're talking about.
I'm drawing a blank
because you're right. Because that Bilbo came back and life was as it was. And he was right. But they, you know, Frodo and they all came back changed forever.
Absolutely.
You know?
And they never really came back, did they? I mean, Frodo
like that,
to the point where he leaves Middle Earth doesn't. You want to go see? Okay, I'm going to take you. You guys continue talking. I'm going to take Charlotte to Granny real quick. I'll be right back.
This is actually great because that was the first recording we've had with Charlotte, so that was actually fantastic.
Awesome.
But yeah, I know what you're saying though, because they like the story. Because I read The Hobbit first, and I love The Hobbit.
Yeah.
But it's a simpler story. It is just a great adventure, you know.
Yep.
They say it's sort of for slightly younger than Lord of the Rings.
Right.
And so that's, you know, did you read that first, by the way? Hobbit?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And then you went to the Lord of the Rings?
Right. Yeah. So I read The Hobbit, liked it, thought it was a good story, and then started reading Fellowship, and it took me a little while to get into it because, you know, it's a different feel, it's a different setup.
Right.
And it took me a little while before I realized, this is a whole new, bigger, more complex thing that I'm about to experience.
Like I think I read it in 6th grade, and then you said you started 7th grade.
Yeah, probably 7th. Yeah.
Because by the time I eventually got to reading Lord of the Rings, I was a little bit older. I was 8th going into 9th grade, which was probably better because it was a step up a little bit in all the world building and the vocabulary and stuff that you had to kind of, I don't know, like I was like, what is this place they're referring to? And different kingdoms that weren't there anymore. And I'm like, so I don't know, that's been interesting. And we're excited when we go back to The Hobbit, because we started with Fellowship of the Ring, and we went that way versus starting with The Hobbit. And people were kind of wondering why we did that. And it just really come down to Lane. It's his favorite book. And it really is. The Hobbit is great, but I don't know. It's like The Lord of the Rings is a sequel to that, which is amazing.
Right.
And you're like, and it's better.
Yeah,
it's actually, but they're different because of what we're talking about, which is the complexity and like the age or the, it's like more mature, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome though. So is there, let me think here. So is there so is the Shire sort of, so if you connect with Sam, we often ask people, like, you connect with a character, is there a region or a group of people? Is it the Hobbits, or is it like, what's a group of people or even a region or a place that you would connect with as well too?
Oh,
Like
in the
favorite,
story.
I guess. Yeah, like in the story.
Yeah.
Because like for me, for example, like I mean, Lane and I both have talked about like the Hobbits or whatever, but I'm really into the wizards. Like I love Gandalf, and I like the idea of a guide by the side. You know, so certain people in our group kind of connect with like Boromir, people from Gondor, or the elves. We got people dressing up like elves and stuff. I mean, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
You know, but
yeah, I definitely would say that. It's the Hobbits. Yeah,
Hobbits,
just
you grab
grounded to the earth. You know,
you're smoking pipes, and
right? Yeah.
See, that's what we like about it, is it's just so earthy, and it's like, you just feel super. I don't know. It feels like us. It actually feels like we can kind of connect to it.
That's right.
Whereas some people are connecting to. Like the elves just seem sort of like they're off and they're unattainable. It just seems like it's too whatever.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
which I think is great in the way that he wrote that, because you can instantly, when you go in to the story through the perspective of the hobbits, you can connect more. I think you can make sense. You're kind of wading through this fantasy story, and it just feels more like real life, I guess, as we grow and
Well, I think that's a great question.
Stuff.
That's a great thing to think about, right? Like, because I definitely do know people who would be connect with the elves or whatever. They're just have that kind of personality.
That's who they are.
Right.
Yeah.
They're thinking about bigger things all the time, and they're kind of more aloof perhaps, but not
right. They're walking by, seeing us in the backyard, smoking our pipes, going, "Is that all you do all day?"
Right.
Yes,
right.
That is, and we're having a great time back here. You go about your business, all right?
Yeah.
That's the genius of Tolkien, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how he's able to create fantasy but connect it with reality, and how it touches so many people and so many aspects of Middle Earth and just the whole mystery of the community, the world that he created.
Right. Yeah, it's like you can there's different entry points, or like there's something for everybody when you go into it, because the hobbits are likable for everybody, really. But then once you start to learn, there's a wizard here, and there's elves, and there's whatever, because then you kind of grab. Because my dad, we did an episode. It was a Father's Day thing, and we brought. Next time we're gonna bring you both on together. By the way, I think I'd love to bring my dad down and have him be on. But we were talking about what area do you kind of what did you like about the films or the books? My dad's only ever seen the films. He was never really into the reading of it. But the elves, he liked them because of their discipline and how disciplined and stern they were and just going about their business. I was like, wow,
So for different reasons, so the elves could almost be seen as divine or angelic in some ways.
Yeah,
they're not really the most benevolent, are they? I mean, they can be.
Right, but sometimes they just don't care.
Sometimes they're really disconnected.
Yeah,
and kind of sort of aloof in that. So they're to me, the elves are very mysterious. They're very, so in that way they're like the angels, kind of. Right?
Yeah.
You think about that part of creation and how their substance and their power and their influence is, and then it's the way that the story is, I think, unfold the history is it kind of sort of they're there when they're absolutely needed, though, which is another thing, right? They did step up,
right? They do, and
so they did recognize the threat,
right,
and responded to it,
and they are working for almost like a greater, I don't know, air quote, greater good. They're trying to help out. They're involved in higher councils and things like that. So and
kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. And the reason I brought that up, like my dad, I think, and I like what you said, because my dad, when I say he connects with them, him being a minister, that's sort of why I've often thought like, yeah, they're disciplined and they're whatever, but I think he likes he thinks it's interesting and he likes to explore that kind of stuff. And so he's like, I wonder about those. I wonder about those guys, those elves. They look a little like, what are they up to? What is their purpose here and all that kind of stuff. And he likes that they're kind of righteous and they come in, they do their thing or whatever. He just thinks it's more fascinating. He loves the Hobbits though, still.
Any of the readings or any is there anywhere you could find Tolkien's? Does he describe his rationale or in creating these races? Right. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I'm saying? Kind of, sort of what I'm getting. His logic or his rationale, because again, I mean, he does cross over into the divine in a lot of ways, and I think the elves embody that or kind of sort of feature that. But then the different aspects of humanity can be found in either the dwarves or the or the hobbits, or I don't know. So I guess my question specifically is, does Tolkien explore that? Does he define that, or has anybody else defined it for him?
I think.
Is that a specific enough question?
Yes, it is. So it's like because I've wondered that too. We just started reading the Silmarillion, so we're kind of like thinking about we're going to the Hobbit next, and then we're going to Silmarillion. But in that, it's the way in which sort of, and you think of like our own creation story and God creating, I'm guessing, angels first in things, or like who was created first and which beings inhabited the heavens and the earth and all this kind of stuff.
The hierarchy almost.
The hierarchy, yeah.
But I guess like the order in
the
which
order,
they came into being.
Because he actually in the Silmarillion, like at one point before the elves were awoken, someone, I forget who it was, one of the Valar tried to create dwarves. They created dwarves and they awoke the seven. But they were awoken out of order, and they were grafted in.
Is that part of the schism between the two as well?
Yes, yeah. And so that's sort of there is. I'm sure he had like a thought process behind that and thinking, because we talk about the elves. That's who we see in the stories, but he had like Valar, Maiar. He had even more angelic beings, which is kind of crazy. Which I think the new TV show is going to show us some of.
Feature a lot of
which
that.
Is people are gonna be like, what is this? And that's going to be. Well, now we can dive in and explore more of these books that are. There's just so much. I can't believe we have this volume sitting over here. These histories we've been talking about, I haven't even come close to diving into those. That just it's so much in there that it was in his mind too, and his son put it down. So that's a good question, Joel.
Like he never finished too. Like he had ideas for the Fourth Age. We talked about it a little bit before, that we've heard, that. He kind of started stories in the Fourth Age, had ideas, didn't like how it turned out. So, but you wonder if his life, if he would have lived a little longer, or if he would have started writing these stories a little earlier, would he have been able to reconcile and be like, okay, well that idea didn't work, but I like this in the Fourth Age. It's just it's one of those stories you want to keep to never end, because it's so good. Like you wish that he was almost still alive, still cranking out stories.
Oh yeah.
So much is there, and then you can even think about the language. I mean, didn't he even create? And the writing.
Yep.
I mean the actual.
Oh, he created languages, like you're saying. He had that going. The way to, like we talked about him singing the world into existence, harmonies and stuff. There's a lot of tie back to creation music. And his influences, and I think in just what he believed in sort of the Silmarillion, because it is who he is as an author. It's who he was as a person.
I even heard someone say too that it was he created these languages. And then he thought, I need somewhere for these languages to live. And that's why, that was his main motivation writing the stories, is because he wanted a world for his languages to exist in. And it's like, oh my gosh, the stories were they're so good, but they were like secondary almost. I care about this language so much that I guess I'll write the story. That was kind of part of, but he obviously loved the mythology, and Beowulf was a huge, one of his favorite tales, and
right.
And also he wanted to create that. He wanted to create a mythology for England because it had so many different influences, and nothing was truly. I think he said nothing was truly English. Even King Arthur had a lot of French influence and stuff like that. So, yeah. Well, you guys got dad talking, huh?
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So have you answered this question, Joel, before? Like, which character do you see yourself the most in?
I was thinking about that. I don't know if I want to commit to that. That's
give us your top three then,
what do you
say?
It's tough. It is tough to do.
You always liked Gandalf, I remember, from watching the movies and stuff, that you'd kind of you dug anytime Gandalf was on screen. You liked
huge, powerful, right?
Yeah.
Again, the time in which these characters come in to the scene either out of need or desperation or whatever. I mean, Gandalf is one of those characters, but there are so many good, solid characters. I would probably have to, really contemplate that to figure out which one because there are so many admirable qualities in so many of them.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to say, I would love Frodo, or Samwise, and the Hobbits obviously have their, strong points, but there are so many personalities and so many aspects of these different characters that, make that fellowship, right? I mean, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And how they just come together.
And maybe another,
so it's a good question.
Maybe another part of Tolkien's genius was he didn't really have one main character either. You've got like you said, it's a ensemble of characters where they could all be their own main character in a story, but they share that responsibility. And
the development is endless. And just like you said, who knows if Tolkien would have lived longer, how much more he could have painted for everybody.
Yeah.
He was close. I mean, like there was some stuff there at the end.
Wasn't it like Morgoth was going to come back, and there was going to be one final
in the fourth, in like later on.
He comes back from the void or whatever, and there was one final confrontation, and it was like reminiscent of Revelation, kind of in the Bible. There's just one final conflict before evil is gone forever, and
so something fascinating that we were talking about, like the hierarchy and angels and all that kind of stuff, and like maybe elves and whatnot. Men, they had he gave them a gift. And that gift was death. And you're sort of like, now wait, how does that work? But like there's something to that. Like like the elves wondered, where would men go when they died? No one knew except for the Creator. So it was stuff like that. You're like, what's that extra thing why is that they get? And so there's so many mysteries to like what.
And then even the value that life gets because of death, right? Because we don't live infinitely or forever. It's like it's short and sweet, and
he was saying something there, and so that was I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But you're talking about these characters, and I have to digress a little bit. I think about the kind of friend Jeremy has been to me, and it is very Sam-like.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty epic, man. I mean, Ez and I talk about that all the time, how we feel like each other's Samwise all the time. It really is. It's like the pinnacle of friendship when you have I don't know how to say perfect, but in my mind, perfect best friend. Yeah. Perfect best friend is the one who is always there, never lets you down.
I mean,
makes things right. You can count on them. You can tell them anything, and it's not going to change how they feel about you or see you. Yeah. And like there are Samwises out there. We have Sam.
I love that idea of being able to be that for each other, because I know, what you just described.
And you guys have been through a lot of junk together too. I mean, there's a whole other. We could go on about just the different things that that life has thrown at both of you that you've been able to help each other through and as friends and.
Yeah, that's right. I can certainly say the same of Joel. Supporting me, carrying me through tough spots.
Well, I got a question for you guys, because I literally can't. I think of our friendship, Lane and I's friendship, and I hope to God,
which is all an act, by the way.
It's all an act, but I'm hoping that years later that it continues to grow into this.
No doubt,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And what I think about is like, if you, because we go through moments in life where it's like when you're learning and you're growing and we don't know everything, and so sometimes you have to be vulnerable with a friend to kind of say, what do you think about this? And go back and forth and learn from each other. And sometimes other people will literally, I hate to say this, but you'll get just people will want to destroy you for being that vulnerable and opening up and saying, I don't know this, and I'm trying to learn about it. And you ask somebody. So we have conversations where we don't know all the answers, but we talk about it, and I feel comfortable talking to Lane about it because I know he's going to carry me to the end, and it's going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you have to have somebody like that in your life.
I don't want to sound like an old man, but be careful what you wish for. And what I mean by that is the best relationships.
That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah.
Are forged in fire.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, right.
No, the fire doesn't.
When you're going through it,
when you're going through it.
Once you come out of it,
that's right.
it's a whole different existence.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
But so you're right. It is.
I
It
see what
is.
you're
It is easy to talk about, like here in the Conference of the Shire, right?
Right.
When everything. It's like the hobbits. You know, oh, I'd like to go on an adventure, and then they find themselves in these.
It's like, do we have to go further than Bree?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
No.
And even I'm thinking about most recently when they were in battle, right? And it's like, they're going to the Black Gate. Last time we left them, they were going to the Black Gate. Merry's staying behind because he has to. Pippin's going, and he thinks, will I ever even see him again? And is this even worth it? Like, what was the point of this?
Right.
Like, are we all doomed? And would I rather not go to meet my doom and just get it over with than be stuck back here and waiting for it to come to me?
Yeah.
But just the
So how
darkness of that moment.
So
like,
how you can read these stories and watch these movies and not feel the spiritual influence, like the spiritual warfare, because that's part of the Smiths and Strayers, and even there's another family called the Wrights that we haven't talked about that, kind of experienced some darkness together and survived it and came out stronger. And how you cannot see and feel, especially as you watch the movies, because you get to experience it in a different way, how you cannot feel that obvious, evident, powerful spirit is beyond me. But obviously, when people create things, they obviously have a reason they do it. There's a motivation. There's a thought process behind it. And everybody who gets to come along and experience that, what they've created, they can interpret that in their own way. But the connection, I would submit that the connection that most people feel, whether they're aware of it or not, is that spiritual, spiritual reality.
Yeah,
because Tolkien was extremely good at weaving that in. It's part of the fabric. It's spirit through and through. So.
Yeah, and I love how he does it in so many different ways through so many different characters. And to bring it back to Tom Bombadil, right?
Wow.
It's this mysterious. He's this mysterious presence.
Right.
You don't know who he's actually communicating with and influencing, but you kind of get the sense that he's influencing everybody and everyone all the time.
Yes.
How he's doing it, who knows?
See?
Where does he show up?
Yeah.
And how does he even get to where he is?
Ring having no effect on him,
right?
And him laughing about like it's just a trifle to him, and he actually got us tripped out pretty hard this last time because we had started looking into these theories that he is Aru Iluvatar, like the one who created, and the elves call him eldest and nameless, fatherless, like he was before everything. And you start to and it's, I think it is amazing, like, and you wonder like how much of that did Tolkien leave open so you could apply it to Dad's talking about the applicability that he put in there of this is the spirit I'm going to create it in, and because it doesn't have any kind of like tag on it, you could come from any walk of life, see the goodness in that, and then benefit from that, and it influence you to be a better person, and
right.
Yeah,
that's
you throw
nice.
the Jones family in there too, right, Dad? Jones family for sure. Yeah,
and you get and I like how, like the frustration that I feel with Bombadil. Sometimes it's like, why don't you like fix some stuff? So I mean, but it makes that space for the problem of evil to be explored in the story in the same way that we experience trying to figure out the problem of evil.
Absolutely.
And we get a little frustrated, wondering why is everything not fixed, and why do we have to go through that fire that you guys went through? You know what I'm saying? Like that's interesting. And actually, I think Joel's honestly onto something. Like we're in the chapters right now where Frodo and Sam are walking through Mordor right now. And it's like it's not even like a physical person or enemy or whatever in front of them. It is a presence. It is a spiritual pressing down on them that's weighing them down. You're like, whoa. Like we feel that sometimes in life. And
I'm thinking about my Bob Ross playing cards over there by Dad, and Bob Ross quote where he says he's talking about light and dark and the values of painting, and without dark you can't appreciate the light of and so it's got to be part of it too. That it's if all you ever know is sunshine and rainbows, you can't appreciate any, or your appreciation level goes down, right? I mean, it's because of, hey, we've been through some stuff, we've come out the other end. changed, right? But finding ways to let that change be for the better. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
I didn't know we'd get this deep.
There we go. Come
I
on.
didn't
Come
know
on.
we'd get this
Baby,
deep.
it's like going to church, huh?
Look out now.
That's why I didn't want to say anything.
Oh my
Nah, it's
Lord.
good. It's
no,
good,
it's
Dad.
actually great because
Have you been able to nail one character down though?
Or
I mean, it's got to be Aragorn, right?
No,
I have to get back to you on it.
yeah.
Because there's just so
there's
many.
wisdom in that, Lane. There's wisdom.
I know
in that.
there is. I know.
Yeah.
I hate to commit because then you wouldn't do this intentionally, but then you kind of sort of move the others aside, and
Yeah.
that's not the definition of the fellowship.
Or what about a group like hobbits, or like what do you feel?
Again,
is the
really,
most-
really hard, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, keyword, there was fellowship, you said.
Right.
I think your group would then be almost like the
nine.
fellowship.
Yeah.
Because that you like that's the thing. You said if you pick one or you hone in on one, you move this group out of the way. I like that, Joel, because that's
identifying with the fellowship.
yeah,
Okay.
With all
and the spirit of it.
Yeah,
you know?
a lot of the peoples of Middle Earth represented in that too. You got the hobbits, the elves, the dwarves,
Yeah.
men, even north and south from the north to south, and then you got the old wizard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a great quest, the journey we're on, in
I
life.
love that
It's
book.
like,
That is my favorite book. Just the beginnings of that when they're all together.
Oh, I know.
Oh, it's so good.
yeah.
and again, too, this whole work, right? This whole world of what Tolkien created reflects the power in which God reveals Himself
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
through His creation,
yeah,
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 in a fantasy, right?
yeah.
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 So the whole universe points to the Creator.
Well, and what was it, Tolkien? So Tolkien, when he had conversations with C.S. Lewis, right? They were like, buddies. And C.S. Lewis was famously an atheist for a long time, and Tolkien was always this devout Catholic Christian, and oh God, I can't remember. It's and I don't know if this is like verbatim the conversation they had, but I think it was the rough idea. Like they both had these love of these fantastical stories, right? And Dad just talking about how God reveals Himself in a fantasy story, and how Tolkien was telling Lewis, he was like, "What if I told you? What if I made a what did professor say? A conjecture or a proposition to you that because of this one story that really happened, all the others are true. That they are like reflections of the one true greatest story that's ever been told." And it's like, and that Lewis was like, okay. Wow, that did something for him in his mind and his heart, or a connection of the two, and it changed the way he thought about those stories. I mean, it only makes them more valuable. You're like, okay, because of this, like, and the story that's continuing to go on, like the story that we're involved in now in the present day, like an echo of the, I don't know if you call it the climax, but like as Christians, you consider that like a pretty, it was definitely the hub, I guess, or like the pivot point or whatever, fulcrum. I don't know. I'm not.
What is wrong with you?
I'm teaching second grade. I don't know all the technical stuff, but that we are like a continuation of that. And
I have to live with the fact that I drug us all into this.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
If I would have
people are
just
gonna love
sat
it.
here and
Yeah.
shut up,
think
People
people are
are
gonna love
gonna,
it.
because it's like anniversary
wouldn't-
episode. They're gonna be like, this is
Yeah.
deep. This is deeper than I thought these guys were gonna get. It's
so
good.
that, I mean, like, so we can
good.
talk about this, like what, because I wanted to ask people in Discord last night. We just didn't get into it. What has been your favorite part about like the book club for the last 2 years? Like, what has been like exciting about it? You were at the first LEP. You didn't get to come last year because you were helping with the girls, or this last fall. So I mean, like stuff like that, and like seeing us just hang out and being around when we interviewed Shane. You were there when we interviewed Shane.
Again, I mean, this is all a result of one man's work.
Yeah.
You can point back to the author and just to see how relationships can be built through, again, a fantasy story. I mean, think about this.
Yeah.
Think about what you guys have, kind of sort of helped encourage people to be, and so you've really kind of developed your own fellowship. I mean, it sounds corny, but if you experience one of these parties, I guess you've had two now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so evident and obvious in the people that come and make the effort to come, and
It is
just
amazing.
their
Yeah.
interaction and their time together is
Everybody's giving, bringing stuff
and
to give. Yeah.
and I would say you reach out to your listeners, your uppers, and say, how has this afforded a change in your life,
Yeah.
in your heart?
And
And
yeah.
I would wager that no one would say it hasn't.
Yeah, I mean that's the cool thing with that group. We hear it all the time. It seems like people are always communicating to each other. Yeah, even like lately, this last month was kind of rough for a lot of. It was weird. Everyone was, or not everyone, but a lot of people in the group were experiencing just, and maybe like people are because we've been around long enough, people are comfortable enough to share more openly. Maybe this stuff was always going on, and they didn't feel, or like they see one person say, like this just happened big time. I need a little bit of help. Could you guys post something that will give me some strength or whatever? Yeah. That also has a domino effect. Quotes, like you see someone else do it, then you feel, okay, I'm safe. I can do it. But yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy and we were talking to people last night, most of whom we met, but like we had never talked to Pao before.
No,
we got to talk to Pao, who's from Argentina, and she's a translator. So she connected to the language episode, which connects us back to Jim. It's amazing. It is like a fellowship that it's unreal. Like it's so cool to think about. And again, a fantasy story creating real friendships. Like what in the world? I know. Well, that is just bizarre.
Every time Joel says that, I keep thinking about like the creator and his creation, and then their creations, and how those things can kind of honor and depending on what you choose to do with what you've been given, which is Tolkien chose to make this, and look how it's influenced people for the better. And then we've chosen to highlight the good in this and say we want it to continue because he's not here, and we want to kind of continue to spread that because we think it does such it's a story you want your kids to read. And you want them to kind of, I don't know, it's a gateway into like just a better life and world, and you start thinking about these characters and you want to connect with them because they're good and they do great things. And so I don't know, it gets fired up. So
I think I've reached my emotional apex.
No more crying.
And I'm gonna tap
You're
out.
allowed to. It's fine.
Say goodbye and go see my granddaughters. So it's been a pleasure, gentlemen.
All right. Well, farewell, Father. Yeah, and thanks for that, Dad. That's awesome. My dad's my hero, so anytime I can have him on the podcast is good.
I love listening to
he
Joel.
Could be on all the time. It'd be great.
I really do. Good man.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. It's.
Can I say something before we like? So, what years did you teach at the NAS? When were you there?
I can't remember. I can't remember how old I am. Let's see. I was there for 14 years.
You were there when I was in school for a while, right?
That's right. And I
But
left.
did you because I graduated in 2011.
Yeah. I think I left 2010.
Yes, that seems right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. Because Lane asked me, if I knew you, and I was like, I think I should.
Yeah.
But I don't. No, first of all, I wasn't taking any math classes. I wasn't doing any of that. But I thought, because that's why I kind of wondered. I was like, and I got there my sophomore year. So I went to Ohio State, then transferred in. So I was only there for 3 years. I guess I was there.
3 years,
What years were you there?
So it would have been 2009,
10.
8. What?
Oh,
no,
8,
sorry,
9,
I'm sorry.
10.
7, 8.
Okay.
Would have been
8, 9, and 10.
I had to go an extra semester.
Right?
That's right. It was 3.5 years because I transferred. 'Cause sometimes when you transfer, all those credits don't always.
Right.
Come
Did you
with
graduate with me? I think
No, I
you
graduated
did.
in December.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I was like kind of that weird.
Yeah, that's right.
Corey Gaston.
Yeah,
and
Corey Gaston.
Yeah.
Same time.
Yeah, I came
So-
in 95-ish, in the fall of 95, and then as a grad student, and then,
Okay.
and then left in 10. Yeah.
Wow.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then you went after that. You went to
Indiana State
yes, that's right.
University. That's right.
Really?
Home of Larry Bird.
Larry Bird.
Wow, are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
yeah,
Alma Mater. Isn't that
Larry
cool?
Legend?
In Vigo County, right? In Indiana?
Vigo County.
Oh, Vigo. Okay, yeah.
Vigo, yeah.
Vigo.
Yeah.
So Vigo. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then
I was just there for 1 year.
And then you were down
went
to Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
went to Middle
yeah.
Tennessee
Wow.
State.
and this guy's, I mean, he's a published professor. Are you a doctor? Have you gotten your PhD?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Sorry.
From the
Wow.
Ohio State University. Yeah.
I see. I almost
Yeah,
wore my
yeah,
Michigan
yeah.
sweatshirt, but I didn't. I was like, is that pushing it?
You introduced him the wrong
Yeah.
way. What's wrong?
Yeah.
I know I did.
Oh, no,
so we
no,
can put
that's
this
fine.
at the front. So
He's a hobbit, right?
he's
So-
humble.
Yeah.
He's a
He's humble.
Samwise. So
Yeah.
he wouldn't want me to do that anyway. But
Yeah.
Hey, it's funny. We have our own professor on the show now.
I know, isn't that amazing? That's amazing. That's true. Yeah, we haven't had that before yet.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I do math education
Yeah.
stuff, research and
Yeah.
writing and stuff at Middle Tennessee State. It's great.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah,
It's
that's
really cool. Yeah, well, I'd love Jeremy to experience like a LEP or one of the meetups.
Oh man, because we'll smoke a pipe and have a pint back over here in the corner.
You would love it. You would love it.
Fun.
It was
That'd be
just,
a lot of
I mean,
fun.
especially this last year. The first year was great because it was very like unexpected, and then last year we had people from all over. I mean, we had Mel B from Australia.
Oh, wow.
Who she was coming to America anyway, but adjusted her time frame so she could come to the party. We had people from
Colorado,
Nevada, Colorado, Texas, all over the place, Michigan,
and they're good. They're just good
New
spirited
England.
people.
Yeah. So, and it was cool. A lot of them we knew through the group, but were meeting for the first time, and it's just I don't know. It's a wild. It's like I guess it's what I always hoped church would be like for me, and I've never found a church like that, and it's just this great like Dad said, fellowship community of people that. I mean, man, it's just like you could count on for anything.
Yeah,
so, but
so you're definitely invited. So
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
that's
Yeah,
kind of
one of
a
these years.
I
out
love
there, but
reasons to come to Ohio.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
man.
get Joel over here. We'll have him. Man, I love your dad. That we've got a food. Well, you know what? We'll turn the mics off and talk about it. We got a few. I just love like seeing other people have that kind of friendship and that relationship.
It's cool,
just gives
isn't
me
it?
courage. It just honestly encourages me, and that's one of the reasons why Lane wanted to highlight you guys and bring you on, because like that's what we're all about.
And that way too,
know?
when you find your Mrs. Kirk someday and you're moving off to Montana or Colorado or California or wherever you are,
Who knows?
we'll still be able to be friends. That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
And,
That's
like,
right.
We'll be able to.
We've seen that it's
maintain that.
It works.
So
Yeah.
we'll have to probably ask them for tips on how to keep the bromance alive.
The application for Mrs. Kirk is still out there. Okay.
And you've got a list of applicants, though, don't you? I mean,
No, I don't know. No one's filled out the application, so I don't know.
Yeah, right. Right.
Well,
Well,
appreciate
Dr.
you
Strayer,
guys
thank you for
having
being
me on.
thank you for being here, man. Hey, when the hello. This is the homebrew. We got to get reactions here. This is Jeremy made this.
No, you're kidding.
Never
me.
above you, never below you, always beside you.
Are you kidding me? Seriously? Let's see here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh man,
We think, yeah.
It's good.
that's really good.
It's good. I'm actually
Cheers. Never above you, never below you, always beside
man.
you.
Like that makes
Oh my
me.
gosh.
I love how each bottle's different on a homebrew. So
Sure.
I
Yeah,
love it.
man. Because we had I don't know. You probably don't have time to listen, but like Ben Wireman is one of our friends, and he made beer for the party.
Okay.
And he's actually he's like this guy who just like brewing beer has been a passion of his, and he's like making beer for Elevator Brewing in Columbus.
Oh, nice.
And it's just like something he mentioned on the side. I'm like, that's huge, dude. I'm like, why are you not just like forget Elevator, do your own stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
This is amazing. Like it reminds me.
It
of the
reminds me
stuff
of
that-
what he brought us,
Yes.
actually, which is really, really good. He got these labels from somebody else in the group as the Golden Perch, which is in the story. You hear about them talking about getting the Golden Perch brew. And
Samwise was
and
longing
stuff.
for it.
He was wanting it so bad.
Yep.
They were leaving the Shire, and they're thinking,
Yep.
man, I'm not going to get any of that for a while. And so he made that
Shire
for us
stout
and brought
right
it.
here. This is delicious.
Yeah. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is... Now, hey,
So what do you taste and what are the notes?
I'm getting a little bit of. I'm getting that kind of like coffee flavor.
I'm not good at this, but I just know it's delicious.
It's delicious. Yeah,
It's
man.
beer. It's beer flavored beer.
I'm getting the coffee.
So
So there's something right there at the beginning too.
Joel, did you?
Something kind of fruity.
Yeah, like sweet.
Almost kind of tart a little bit.
Yeah.
Some kind of berry. Is it a
Yeah.
berry or something?
I don't know. It's just grains and hops and yeast.
Yeah,
and water.
I'm getting
That's
it.
it.
I like that. I like that it hits fruity at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then, wow, I got to be careful with what I'm saying here.
Yeah,
and then
you really
it like mellows out, man.
Yeah.
Because I don't normally like stout, but this is good.
I actually, and actually, this is so this, and then what Ben brought us. That's
and it's
great.
it's
Delicious.
a subtle bitter at the end. It's not a real strong, overpowering bitter.
No, not at all.
That is
Not
good.
at all.
Yeah.
Because I could sit here and drink this and no problem. This is feeling great.
You're probably drunk right now.
We did an episode a couple weeks back, and people are probably really concerned that they're wondering how much did Joel?
Nez.
He only
Don't do
gave
it.
me half a glass,
Yeah,
guys.
they're
All right.
four
Fingers there.
ounces.
Yeah.
Like a lightweight over there. He's gonna be gone in 2 seconds.
I'm even getting a little. What is that, man? There's something there, like almost kind of like a chocolatey.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, that's
Little
real
chocolatey.
good. Yeah, man.
Chocolatey caramely.
Oh, Jeremy, just add another skill to his.
Come on.
I think I
great.
remember when you were talking about buying like gear to start doing this.
Yeah.
Didn't you start in Mount Vernon a little
we
bit?
Thought about it.
And you
yeah,
and Dad
but-
talked about it, right? Because
yeah.
you're like, let's just start our own kind of
and then
thing.
Dreamed up names like the Wesleyan Quadrilager or something like that.
What?
And,
Come on.
Dude, I'm not even going to mention the sumo podcast name you're going to do because I don't want someone to take it. It is too perfect.
We got to get something
One
going.
more version of the
then.
name
I
game
mean,
there.
Yeah, like whether it's them. I mean, I don't know. This is
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's delicious, man.
We're gonna have to, import this.
I think so. Next party. Well,
Ooh,
maybe we'll
what would we call this? The prevenient Grace Porter. Something like that, maybe.
Gosh.
That's great. That's great.
I gotta go
People
look
are
up the
missing
words,
out. This
too.
is perfect because of it's the anniversary.
Oh, that's delicious. That is
we
delicious.
Well,
So,
thanks. Thank you.
You're published. Where can people find your educational articles?
Oh, yeah. So look in one of the best places is the Mathematics Teacher. It's a publication, a practitioner journal from the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics.
Awesome, man.
And I think I have. So that's the high school journal. Mathematics teaching in the middle school is a middle school journal, and teaching children mathematics is for elementary. I've got some articles on all three of those.
I need to check that out. And you've been on a podcast previously. We thought we were getting your first time here, and he walked in and was like, "Yeah, so these." Well, and
His
you know
old
Mike's
hat.
because of music as well.
Right,
so
right.
where can people hear you?
Yeah, so I'm a contributor to the Math Ed podcast, but Sam Otten is the one who kind of started that. He's at the University of Missouri.
Oh, that's
and,
cool.
That's a great podcast if you're a math ed research nerd. Yeah, it's fun.
That's so cool.
That's cool. That's cool.
Jeremy,
Yeah.
it's been awesome having you. Uppers are going to love this. This was good for us too.
Yeah.
Just reliving that moment of one of the strongest memories of my wedding day, if not the strongest, was that because the other thing, I don't know if I explained this, I think I did, but Sarah and I didn't know what passage you had picked.
Right.
So as you're reading it, I just start crying now. It was just it just hit us.
He's told me about this, and he was emotional when he told me.
Dude, it was amazing. I was like, yes, that's what I want my life. That's what I want my life to be.
Right.
I want it to
Yeah.
So anyway, I want the view I'm hearing him describe right now is I hope that is my threshold, and it has been. It has been.
Yeah.
So
it's been fun watching you guys over these years. How many years is it now?
we've been married. Oh gosh.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, 2013. So it was 6.
Yeah.
Because we're working on. It was 6 in October.
So you're in your 7th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I've been doing all the anniversary gifts. I was trying to remember which one it was, and I think it was Iron this last year.
Okay.
Which is, 6.
You better get it right, buddy.
I know, buddy.
It's been
I know.
great
This is
watching you guys.
Well, I mean, it's amazing. Your kids are all growing up, and I remember their little
about to
tiny
leave.
things.
Yeah.
And Abby's getting married, and
Yep.
it's crazy. It's nuts. But we appreciate it, man. And, and
thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
as
thanks for
always,
coming.
I
This is
mean,
good.
does Frodo live? You want to say that line?
Frodo lives. Yeah.
There it is, man.